I'm live. Okay, I have no idea why I always laugh. So when no one believes you is tonight's Miss BJB scope. I'm coming from a real personal place today, and I'm really hoping that I can actually look back on this and encourage myself. So I'm gonna get right into it so I can get out of here. Before I go into it, I want to announce that this True Talent Diva will now have her own podcast Tuesdays. It will be available this Tuesday. Nervous and excited, and I'll have more details on Sunday. The closer I get to Tuesday, more details about this will be on TrueTalentProductions.com, as well as in the scope and on Pinterest and wherever else you can find True Talent Productions information. All right, let's get into this. When no one believes you. Life is interesting, isn't it? We've been told for most of our lives to chase our dreams and what do you want to do when you grow up, and things along that line, or what field of study are you going to go in, or what have you. And then when we finally lock into that talent or that gift or that dream and we start to go for it, something stops sometimes. I guess I'm talking to the people who are still trying to press forward or start over or start. And I'm coming at you from a Peter walk on water sort of a perspective. So if you looked at the quote that was on the flyer, it says, "You can never cross the ocean unless you have the courage to lose sight of the shore." I don't know, I should look that up. I don't know whose quote that is, but that is so true, and it is very fitting for the Peter walking on water situation. Now, if you are watching this replay or this YouTube and you're not well versed in the Bible, let me give you a very quick synopsis of what I'm talking about when I say Peter walking on water. Peter was, when Jesus Christ was walking the earth, when he was made flesh and dwelt among us as a man, and he had his disciples. That's who Peter was. Peter was one of Jesus's homeboys. Yes, I'm going to tell this my way. Jesus was one of the 12 that kicked it very closely with Jesus while he practiced ministry on earth. He got the up close, personal, Peter did, got the up close, personal, oh my gosh, that VIP access to Jesus while he was on earth doing his ministry. Now, Peter was also, out of the 12, one of Jesus's right-hand men. Okay? I don't feel like I need to explain that. That's just what it was. Amongst the 12, he had his right-hand man. I mean, we all got it. Amongst all your family members, you got them two you really know got your back. Or amongst all your friends, you got that one that you know when it's all down, 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 that's the one you call. Everybody cool. You love everybody. But Peter was one of Jesus' right-hand men. And that's important to remember as I go into this. Now, one day, see, now I got to back up. John the Baptist was the forerunner. Before Jesus took hold of his ministry, there was this dude in the wilderness telling the people the Messiah coming, King of Kings, Lord of Lords. He coming, this is what he gonna do. John the Baptist, wonderful man, study to show yourself approved, look him up in the Bible, New Testament. Now, And Lee, I think you already know, but I'm talking to my replay viewers and my YouTube viewers. So, anywho, John the Baptist had just gotten incarcerated by, I believe he was the king, King Herod, of that time for telling the king that he had no business with his brother's wife. You know, and so King and the wife didn't like that too much, and they locked him up. Now, usually the king would, kill somebody for, getting in his business, basically. But John the Baptist was so well beloved of the people because his words were true, and this Jesus character, our Savior, was walking and fulfilling those things that John the Baptist prophesied. And so King Herod was no dummy. If he killed John the Baptist, there's going to be an uprising in his kingdom, and he wasn't having it. So he just put him in jail. Well, the king had a birthday, and this wife, his brother's wife that he took, had a daughter. And for whatever reason that I will never understand, the daughter, the mother, the wife, hey there now. The wife, Herodias' brother's wife, what else her name, Herodias, she used her daughter to basically be an exotic dancer at King Herod's birthday party. And King Herod, being a man, was very, very pleased by this dance and told the girl he'd give her anything she wanted. That's how wonderful it was, and that's how you know that it wasn't no, ballet dance. You know it was something a little more lustful. And so the daughter, being a pawn for her mother, asked for John the Baptist's head. Now remember, King Herod didn't want to kill John the Baptist. He knew better. But because he's the king and his word is to stand true, he told that little dancer, his private dancer, public dancer, he'd give anything she wanted. The girl was being pimped out by her mama. And mama wanted John the Baptist's head on a platter. That's what the girl asked for. Thus, the king had to do just that. And they went to the prison and cut his head off and brought it back to the woman. So, So, here's what it is, right? John the Baptist's disciples go get the body, bury him, do what they do for their customs. And then they went and they told Jesus, because Jesus knew John the Baptist. You know what I'm saying? He was the forerunner for him. Anyway, Jesus got the news. And remember, Jesus was man as well as God. So, though he knew this was going to happen, he had feelings. And so, Jesus, when he got the news, he left everybody. And he went off to be by himself. Away from everybody. He went off, I think it was he got in a ship. Everybody at this time, Jesus was so popular, they wanted to be healed. I heard John the Baptist was dead, but you know what, Jesus? I'm sick. I got scurvy, baby. I need you to heal me. So basically, what was going on was Jesus was trying to get away so he could deal with his emotions. John the Baptist has been beheaded. He is gone. But Jesus didn't get that opportunity. And because he was there as a servant, he obliged the people. He healed everybody that was sick there. And then the disciples came from, got on the boat, met him there, to watch him talk to the people and heal. And so the disciples like, Jesus, you've been out here a while. We need to send this multitude away. It's about time for them, it's time to eat, basically. And Jesus like, no, they good. Tell them to sit down. We'll eat right here. And the disciples like, how? We only got 2 fish, 5 loaves of bread. And I always found it amazing that them 2 fish and 5 loaves didn't even belong to the disciples. And they had that kind of power to take over somebody's lunch. But hey. So as most people know, there's that miracle. Lord blessed the 2 fish, 5 loaves of bread. 5,000 men plus 8. And they had food left over. After these people ate, Jesus, still needing to mourn, I believe, told the disciples, go on the ship, go out and I'll come. After I send the multitude away, I'll come meet you. The disciples did what he said. He got the multitudes out. And actually, he needed his minute. He went into a mountain by himself to pray. And he was just apart. I don't remember how long. I don't think it was very long. It was long enough. And I think just a few hours maybe. And while the disciples were in the middle of the sea, them waves was going. It was tossing that boat back and forth. So Jesus, knowing his people, let me go out there and meet them. Jesus walked on the water. Okay? So Jesus walked on the water to meet them, and the disciples are looking out, and they see a man coming. They can't tell who it is, but they see a man coming. And, they got scared and thought it was a spirit. And even in these times, somebody started walking on water. I think I'd have been scared too. And oh, Father, who is this walking on water toward my boat? Who is that? Exactly. But Jesus, right away, as soon as they got scared, he said right away, the Bible says straightway, he says, fear not, it is I. It's me. So I'm imagining they got cool. Once Peter heard somebody on the boat said, hey, the Lord out here walking toward us. Peter like, oh snap, Jesus coming right now. Got on, stuck his head out, and he's like, Jesus, can I come? Now, I'm going to finish this, and this is why this even goes with the topic when no one believes you. All right. So, Jesus said one word, come. Okay. This was in the desires and the heart of Peter. Jesus didn't ask nobody to come out on the water. Peter asked. Okay. He wanted to be nearer to the Lord. He had that desire in his heart. And he wanted to make sure he was in line with the Lord. And he asked God, if you bid me, can I come? And I think Jesus was pretty honored by that. You want to be closer because that's all he wants us to do is be closer to him. So he said, come. Peter got out, no hesitation, and walked toward Jesus on the water. It wasn't until he saw the winds blowing, boisterous winds is what King James Version says. He saw the boisterous winds, and then he began to sink. Now, Jesus stretched forth his hand, saved him from drowning. And then looked at him and said, oh, you of little faith, where your faith? I'm going to stop right there. Now, I feel like many people, not even just Christians, but I guess I'm going to just talk to the believers. I feel like we have things God has deposited in us that we need to walk toward because they're of him. They're of his kingdom. They're the desires of our hearts. But truthfully, the Lord is the Lord. He knew anyway. And we ask him for something. And he goes, come on. Now, if you are like me and you've started to walk on whatever your waterway is, whatever it may be, if you took a step, put a toe in, I don't know. If you've ever started to walk and then your world gets crazy and then your faith wavers, which is pretty much how I like to view that, and you start to sink, and then the Lord, he take care of you. He's not going to let you drown. And then Jesus don't say it now. We say it to ourselves. Oh, I can't do this. Why did I try? Or in my case, no one believes me anyway. Why am I doing this? Not to be too deep. Basically, I want to encourage people today to pay no attention to the winds that blow. And see, it don't say it in the word because I looked. I feel like out of all 12, was 12 of them on a boat. Okay? Walking on water was not reserved just for Peter. Peter was the only person that had the desire in his heart to walk. So the thing is, if you happen to be, whatever your circle is, you happen to be in a circle where you want to step out on faith on whatever it is, and it's like people around you may not necessarily be saying you can't do it. It does not record anybody. Matthew wasn't in the background talking about, Peter, you can't do that, sit down. I don't recall reading that. It's just they watched. I know they did. They was watching Jesus walking on the water. They had to watch Peter get on that water. And I'm not sure how many steps he took, but he didn't just take one and started to drown. He was walking. And the thing is when you don't have, Peter was cool. He didn't look, even if he looked at the depth of the water, it did not say in the word that that's what took him down. I feel like what probably messed Peter up, in a sense, is what has been messing me up, which is you've started whatever your journey is. It could be professional, it could be familial, relational, it could be a health journey, whatever it is. It could be spiritual. I don't know. You are taking a big step of faith, and you're taking another one. And the people who are part of, especially they are, they know Jesus like you do. They love Jesus like you do. And they were cool. The disciples were cool. So these are your people you spend most of your time with. When they're not necessarily grabbing you back saying you can't do it, but they're also not encouraging you that you're on the right track, keep going. Keep moving. That messes you up. I think, and a lot of preachers have said it, once Peter took his eyes off of Jesus, that's when he began to sink. And that's possibly true. And I think that really that's what it is, because if you're paying attention, you're looking at the winds, and wind ain't even got no, you can't see wind. You can hear wind. You can see the results of wind, but you can't see it. And it says he saw the winds. You paying attention to the wind, that's a small thing. Instead of keeping focused on Jesus and what was put in your heart in the first place, you will begin to drown. But that's not the point of this scope. The point of this scope is for them people sitting in that boat. I feel like, because, people's heads move when you look at different things. And I know somebody had to be watching Peter intently. And when he got distracted or discouraged or whatever it would have been cool, dope, and effective for Peter's desire for somebody on the boat to go, you good, man, keep going. Don't worry about it. Stay on. Jesus right there. And my thing is I know Jesus is all powerful. Hallelujah, he is our God. But he was flesh at that time. It says when Peter began to drown, all Jesus did was stretch forth his hand to pull him out. So, in my mind, when I was reading the word, I was thinking the Lord became stretch arm strong, and he went, his arm went all the way across the sea. He must have been really close. Because, Jesus had a fleshly body at that time. And all Jesus did was stretch forth his hand to keep Peter from drowning. And so, my thing is, if you're this close to Jesus, and you still can drown, I'm starting to think about this differently. There's so many ways to take this story. You can blame and look at so many different elements, but I think part of it that really made Peter's faith wane, because the winds was going while he was walking. And if he got so far to where Jesus was close enough to just kind of stretch his hand forth to pull him up, then I think what really could have helped him complete the journey is taken from the fact that nobody in that boat is not recorded anywhere. That somebody prayed, somebody, and then prayer wouldn't have meant nothing either unless you said it out loud. Encouragement, belief that Peter could, because he was doing it. The quote that I had on there goes with this Bible verse, and we'll dissect that a little. You can never cross the ocean unless you have the courage to lose sight of the shore. Now, that quote can be interpreted many ways, but I just want to focus on, can you keep going when nobody is in your cheering section? When it's like nobody believes in you. And I feel like that's not the story of my life, but that's many highlights of it. Many highlights of my life, I don't have a cheering section. And in things that I've been tried, like if it's easy to do when you on land. Like, I've been here before. I'm used to the waves. I don't need a cheering section. I know God can. But when you on uncharted territory, when you are in that deep, 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 you walking on the sea, meaning you could die. Eric Thomas has a video. I haven't sent it to anybody, but it's called No Net. He released it Sunday night, which is for his Monday. That thing right there is real. You're not taking a real risk if there's a net under you when it comes to your dreams and your goals. He likened it to, like them. Excuse me, I'm too close. I can't zoom back out. Okay. He likened it to them tightrope walkers and circuses. He's like, and I've seen it. If you've seen somebody walk and they got a net underneath that can catch them, I'm not impressed by that. As a matter of fact, he was like, I want my money back. I just wasted my money. But he said if somebody is walking on them tightrope walk and there's no net, even if all they did was go 2 feet, I'm impressed by that, because that's a real risk. That's real faith. That's real gumption. That's real determination. So when it comes to Peter's walking on water, there wasn't no net. Wasn't nobody gonna catch him if he drowned. Jesus did, and that's to let you know how big of a risk it is. If what God has put inside of you is so risky that the only way, if it fails, the only person that can bail you out is Jesus, then my God, you definitely need somebody. I don't care how bold you are, you need somebody clapping and cheering you on. Because even if you go back to that circus act, at least they doing it in front of the audience. And I believe that most of the people are hoping he makes it across, not like, you gonna fall. It may be 1 or 2, but most of the audience is clapping and cheering or holding their breath so the person can concentrate. But in this situation with Peter, you find that it's just a bunch of spectators probably whispering under their breath, waiting to see you fall. Knowing you won't die because you see Jesus there, but really, come on, man, you not Jesus. I don't know. There's so many ways that can play out. I have a vivid imagination. But to apply it to today's topic when no one believes you, my thing is I'm personally at a place where, even though it's mostly mental, I am afraid, I guess you could say, or have been afraid, to walk on the uncharted territory without paying attention to the boisterous winds. And in a way, I've started. This Periscope proves I've started. The YouTube channel has proved I've started. I'm starting a podcast next week. I'm starting. But when no one is cheering you on, like you can't hear it. Especially if it's that close circle. And it's cool if, I don't know, but it's something about the people who are the closest to you that you would think would cheer you on when they don't. Then you begin to think you can't do it. Now, see, that's the old personal thing that I'm having. And I'm bringing this to the world because I want to remind people to get in the mindset of what Jesus said to Peter after he got him up from starting to drown. Where's your faith? And I'm going to add on to it the quote, don't ever let anyone dull your sparkle. You are meant to shine. Not every disciple was meant to walk on water that day. And there are no other accounts written in the Gospels of any other disciple attempting to walk on the water. What's meant for you is for you. So when no one believes you and no one's cheering you on and you don't, I can't tell you how many times the people closest to me don't get my vision. And then, you listen to the motivational speakers and they say, well, it's not their job. They're not supposed to. And that's true. It's true. But even though it's true that it's your dream and it's your vision, everybody needs some form of encouragement. Like, not just I prayed for you, but, you hear it. I guess that's why I'm so adamant, me personally, in encouraging people daily, no matter who you are, child, boss, whoever, even when people don't receive it. I'm really adamant about that because I know what it's like not to get it when you really, really need it. But when no one believes you, I'm encouraging you to shine anyway. Don't dull your sparkle. Don't hold back. Don't get back in the boat because your wife don't get it. Because your husband don't get it. Don't take that first step and then turn back or take your eyes off of the prize, which should always be centered and founded in Jesus anyway, because your mother and your father think you're wasting your time. Or my favorite, because people develop this persona like you think you're better, because I have to imagine that those disciples had to be like, who he think he is? They had to. Somebody did. Because we human, and that's the sort of thing a lot of people do. And when you encounter that from people who are close, it's one thing. It is a whole nother thing when people you don't know don't believe in you. That mess does not affect you at all. If you like me, I could care less. You can call me whatever. Because I'm like, you don't know me. What T.I. say? You might have seen me on the street, but shouting, you don't know me. You don't know me. Your words do have no weight here. But when the people know you or they on your same team and they have any inkling of doubt or they're not there or whatever it is, that mess can mess with your mind. Look what it did to Peter. Can you imagine how close he was to Jesus when all Jesus had to do was stretch his hand out to lift him up from drowning? That's really close. I'm just saying that is close. And how close are some of us to achieving whatever the desires are in our heart that God has given us? But we let fear, maybe, you haven't told anybody yet, but you think no one will believe you anyway. Believe in I try. Don't let anyone ever dull your sparkle. You are a star in this vast world and you are meant to shine your way. Every star in the sky is different. They're all accounted for in heaven. They all have their place in the vast universe and they all have a purpose. And if he's given that much significance to a star, then where is our faith? You see, I'm saying our, because I'm going to go back and look at this when I get low. Because when nobody believes you, especially if it's for the benefit of whatever you're trying to do is for the benefit of the people, that is difficult. Now, I'm not going to sit here and get on these scopes week in and week out and think that, oh, I'm just encouraging whatever. I may be, but some of my biggest, the reasons that I like to do this and it comes so easily is because I've spent so many years encouraging myself. And another thought hit me while I was just saying that. There are some of us who are loners or roll in small circles, and there's nothing wrong with that. There are some of us that many times when you have to encourage yourself, that's the situation God puts you in. But I encourage you to be careful, because we are not meant to permanently be in situations where when it comes to whatever this particular thing of faith that you need to take, you're not supposed to always be the one encouraging yourself, especially when other people can see you. Now, if they have no knowledge of your journey, that's another thing. But when they can see some walking taking place, and there's just, I don't even know, it don't have to be deep, but you can feel it. I'm just saying. And on the flip, no, it ain't even about the flip. We're going to keep it right there. Keep in mind those folks that are not there for you that should be. Let me tell you why. Everybody don't know everything I'm doing. Don't get this twisted. It's not like I've told my dream to every friend I've ever known or family member. Oh, no. Much smarter than that. But if you have put yourself out there for somebody to pray or research, whatever it is, and you can sense it, that they looking at you in the side eye like, you ain't gonna, okay. You need to ask God to either put somebody else in your circle that is going to encourage you to keep going toward Him, and or you need to completely ignore them people. Now, will you love them? Yes, but when it comes to this thing right here, you need to shut that down. You are no longer invited to my walking on water journey, because I will never get across the ocean if I can sense that the only thing you're thinking about is you should have stayed on the shore. And for those of us who haven't even taken that first step yet, you have to lose sight of the shore. Meaning, not necessarily getting to the other side, but the shore you are already standing on. You have to let that go. And you have to venture forth one step at a time. And your perfect safety net is if you're doing this with Jesus as your focus, you will never drown. If you pay attention to everything or anybody else, and even the silence of others, if your faith is not intact, you will sink some. Part of me wonders, okay, that as Peter was beginning to drown, I think that when God pulled him up, if Peter would have snapped his faith back on, the Lord would have continued to let him walk. But what was crazy about it is he was so close, there's probably nowhere else for him to walk. He probably had 1-2 steps left. Some of us are so close. You got 1-2 steps left, and the winds are howling, and it's quiet, and the mind games are coming, but you got to push on, take that next step and that next step. I'm just saying. Anybody feel me? Maybe it's just me, and that's okay. That is okay. No man is an island. No man is an island. And we need to make sure that we are covering. If you are watching somebody take their journey, you need to, when it hits you, you send them something. Ask them a question. Are you still on the journey? How's it coming along? I'm proud of you. Something. If you're able, invest some time, some money, some space. I love my classmates from high school and college because they are some of the most enterprising people ever. And when they have something going on, I get, it's like they my children, even though they're not. I'm like, ooh, I want to support somehow. Somehow. Let me make a donation. I got $20. Let me get that t-shirt. Let me just follow their blog. Let me just follow. You know, those sort of things go a long way for people. And if you're not doing it, you need to do it. If God is calling for you to text somebody, inbox somebody, message somebody, call somebody, hit somebody. There's so many ways to communicate. My goodness. Do something, because you have no idea how close some people are to Jesus, even if it's their salvation, and all they need is for somebody to believe they can do it. Here's the thing. For those of us who are on their water walking journey, another watering story from the Bible comes to mind is Noah and the ark. Long story short, Noah got the commission from God to build an ark. It took over 100 years to build this ark, by the way. And he got the word from heaven that it was going to rain, and it hadn't rained. Well, no, it hadn't rained in over 100 years. I don't know how long it took him to build the ark. It took a long time, though. And as he was building it and telling the people, prepare for the rain. Come on, you can get on this boat. It's a free ride. Live safe. People, they laughed. They didn't believe him. He said, here, the cloud is coming. Come on, y'all. Get on the boat. Get on the boat. Get on. We got plenty of room. We got plenty of food. Get on the boat. You see, I'm getting all the animals. Come on. There's room for everybody. They're like, you crazy. We can't see what you see. Possibly saying, you hearing from God, you. And we all know what happened. He closed that ark up, and them drops began to fall. People banging. Let us in, let us in. It's too late. Because if he let you in now, then everybody else dies. Nobody likes to believe anything until they see the actual result. Sometimes it's the ones you least expect. Amen. It usually is. That's how God likes to do it. But that's why I'm like, don't let anyone ever dull your sparkle, because everybody has their own purpose. And who are we, if you're one of those people, who are we to say this person can't do this person can't do that? You don't know. There are a lot of people that think I'm quiet. And in many circles of my life, I have been. But I have much to say. So much so, I have like 5 outlets for speaking. I have a blog. Outlets for speaking. I have a blog. I have a Periscope. I have a YouTube channel. I have a newsletter. And I'm about to start this podcast. And my thing is, I have a whole lot to say. I always have. And I have training in it. But my thing is when you put people in boxes, you don't know. And people will tear that down. But back to Noah. Them people didn't believe. And then what Noah said came to pass. And what Noah built was very useful. And all people could do was stand and watch it be the success he said it would be while they died. Now, if you relate that to whatever journey you're on, I would hope people are not going to die for not believing in you. I'm not saying that, but I will say that people that want to get on at the last minute, when you're accepting your reward, or you've reached your, I don't know, whatever it could be, when you marry that person, whatever it is, and then people will go, oh, well, I always knew the lies you tell. When no one believes you, you gotta push. You gotta ignore it, because silence is just as loud as someone talking. And you don't have to confront these people, because at the end of the day, we have to stay focused on Jesus. Hello, tell them, boy, bye. Girl, bye. You will not. Don't get me started. When no one believes you, you got to keep walking on water. And who knows how many steps you're going to have to take before you reach your destination. But at the end of the day, just have the courage to take another step. The waves may go, but have the courage to take another step. Keep your eyes on Jesus. And those of us who are watching people's journeys, please say something encouraging. I know some people feel like, well, they're not going to listen to me. You don't know. You don't know what your how you doing can do for somebody. Stars are generally amazing when somebody gazes up at them. Because they're there whether you're looking or not. But they really shine. They really get in your, when you're able to gaze and pay attention to them. And people have opportunities to gaze at miracles taking place in forms of dreams and visions and goals. And people are just so self-centered today. They're so self-centered. I tell you what, when God calls you to be encouraging, don't be self-centered. But when it's time for you to take your step, be Jesus-centered. I'm talking to Dewana now. Be Jesus-centered and ignore the silence. You have an ocean to get across. All right, so I'm done. I'm done. I am. I don't have a whole lot else. I hope that you got something out of when no one believes you. And if you are so blessed to where you've always had great support, that is awesome. I'm going to tell you this, though. When you make that big journey and start walking on water, you're not going to get all the time the support you're used to. You're not going to get it. So you need to be ready now to keep your eyes on Jesus, ignore the silence, and keep walking. Because when you do one of them journeys where there's no net, sometimes what you used to, you ain't going to get. And as Jesus said to Peter, oh, ye of little faith, where your faith? Make sure your faith is intact when no one believes you. Hebrews says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Key words: substance, evidence. We can say we're going to do something all we want. It's the steps that count. I've been trying to swim for many years. I have a fear of water as far as drowning goes. And I've learned the doggy paddle and stuff while holding on to the edge of the pool. I can doggy paddle all day long, but I ain't letting that edge of the pool go. I ain't going nowhere. I'm not swimming. Just because I have I have one of the skills to do it don't mean I'm actually making a journey. Let go of the boat. Keep your eyes on Jesus. Walk. Ignore the silence. Forget the distractions. And some of us are really close. Keep going. Keep your faith intact. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. All right. Don't forget, you can catch me on Sundays at 8 p.m. True Divas Periscope. Tuesdays, I'll have it up. Sunday information about that. Tuesday, we'll drop my True Talent Diva podcast. They will happen weekly on Tuesdays. It's focusing on testimonies of truth for today. Well, Scopers, thank you for tuning in. I don't have a lisp because my mouth hurts. All right, I don't have a sign-off thing, so I hope this helped. Deuces. Thank you for tuning in to another Miss BJB Scope. We hope that you come back next Friday to watch another one. This has been When No One Believes You. Have a great day. God bless, and I love you. Sponsored by True Talent Production.